Kat and Brian, thank you so much for hosting this conversation, navigating getting dressed again. For those of you who don't know me, I'll dive a little bit more into who I am. But for the purpose of right now, I am Catherine Cassidy, founder and CEO of Boutique Box. For those of you listening to the recording, this idea of navigating getting dressed again, we're talking about it now because it's post-pandemic, but this is really relevant for any big life transition that you go through, that women go through, and we're navigating those with our first promotion, with our, as we continue to rise up the level in leadership, as we move cities with different climates, different from business formal to business casual. Our bodies are shifting with hormones like every day. And then, of course, if you have a baby or two, everything changes. So we're constantly relearning. And this is about giving yourself grace and also looking at style with a different eye of you've got it within you. It's just about getting into your closet and playing again. So that's what we're going to talk about, is how to get into your closet and play again. Let's see, there we go. Whoops. All right. So this may be how you feel each morning. If you're here, you have a ton of clothes in your closet. But as you look into your closet, it looks or feels like you have nothing. Where do you even begin? So some questions you may be asking yourself, and I'd love to see in the chat which resonates with you. It could be one, it could be all. How do I have so many clothes and nothing seems appealing? Also, this is about, you're not alone. We're all feeling some level of this probably, even if we really like a lot of our clothes. My body has changed and it may change again. So what do I keep? And then on top of that, what do I buy? We want you to feel good. What is my style and how do I improve it? There's so much good enough for women that we have to deal with in our psyche. How do I dress my new body? However it shifts, for whatever reason that it shifts, it changes what you need. How do I dress for our new business casual dress? Especially with women that I've worked with over the years in more business casual environments, but you're a leader, that creates a whole other level of what do I wear? Let me pop in the chat to see when it's coming up. Nothing is appealing. Hi, Tuba. Yes, new body. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's dive right in. Number one, style is personal. So this is a guide. There's not a lot of prescription here. This is really going to be about helping you think about it a little bit differently, because there's no one size fits all, whether it's literally as far as sizing or figuratively of like, what is your style? At the end of the day, it's what makes you feel your best and you're most empowered and emboldened in yourself. When you go into your closet, the problem is lack of clarity. This is actually a sculpture at the Hirshhorn in DC. And when I first saw it, I was like, accurate. And it speaks to a whole other host of problems too, as far as some of what we're doing with Boutique Box, with the waste that we create in the fashion industry. That's a different conversation, but I'm happy to dive into that as we get into questions. And what I want you to know is that it's not you, it is the system. Especially as before we were popping into this, we were talking a little bit about the Gap coming to Anchorage, and all of us can like think back to when we were finding clothes in growing up, and that's a big part of my own personal story of why I am so passionate about the power of style. But having access to the clothes that make you feel good is key, and it's changed so much. The quality of Gap in the 90s was great. You should never buy Gap full price anymore. It's really disappointing. So the assortments in stores, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what they think is going to sell and what sold last year. And then it's overwhelming online. How do you even navigate where to shop? Trust that something's going to be the quality that you are expecting or wanting, especially for the price point, or that it's going to fit. Finding your right fit. For women, there's no standard sizing. Men have standard sizing in large part because of uniforms during the war, and they needed to standardize it. There hasn't been anything that's created that for women. So again, it's not you, it's the system. And then, as I sort of already alluded to, quality for the price point. So really trusting, is this even worth the price point. In a lot of ways, we've been kind of gaslit in the industry around what is worth it, what is good quality. So we're going to dive into creating your intelligent style. And what question could be, what is intelligent style? I made it up. It's a person's style so embodied and their closet so well curated that getting dressed for any occasion to feel empowered in their style is innate and effortless. So you don't have to even think about it. There's something on your calendar, whatever you're doing for the day, bippity boppity boop, you're ready to go out the door. That is what I want for you. You save time, money, and energy with clarity and connection. It is not something that happens overnight though, but it is something that is absolutely possible. So a little bit about me before we dive into how I help women and actually really just guide you to create your intelligent style is I started my career in the fashion industry, actually on the sales floor of Nordstrom. I ended up in corporate fashion right out of college. I went to school undergrad for business. And when I learned I could merge my love of the power of style, not necessarily clothes and fashion, but really just the power and business, I jumped in. And very quickly, I realized that there was a massive disconnect between the customer and the designer. So in 2008, I started my first business, which was personal styling, getting to the root of the problem and asking this one question continually as I iterated. How do I make it easier for women to say yes to the support? Because I was a corporate merchandiser who had access to massive discount, knew how to dress my body, knew my style. And because I had to still go in and try the things on to figure out my right size, it still took a lot of time and energy and effort. So, and money, even with the best. So what was it like for other women? And especially at the time, even though I was not a mom, and I'm actually still not a mom, I was really thinking about working moms and how do we keep women in the workforce. So a few years back, I pivoted to launch Boutique Box on its own, again, with this question of how do I make it easier for women to access the support and making the one-to-one support that I had offered my personal clients more accessible. Because over the years, the success stories of my clients building their businesses to 7 figures, moving to the US and getting their dream job and meeting their dream man, to growing and feeling like they are seen as a woman who gets to be visible, or getting to be on the stage for their TED Talk. Just the things that we need at a much bigger level and a much bigger scale for women to change the world. So one of our core values is that empowered women empower women. And ultimately, as we dive now into thinking about intelligent style, this is the CEO of Dior, or creative director of Dior, I should say. And I could not agree more with this sentiment. Fashion is a way to express our culture, our history, our humanity. You decide what you want to do in the world, and the clothes help you perform in your work. This is the essence of intelligent style. And you are the future of fashion. With Boutique Box, my vision, our vision, is to create a paradigm shift where women are no longer shamed into fitting a mold, and the diversity of our shapes and styles better inform intelligent, inclusive design. And that means not overproducing anymore. So we partner with emerging designers and brands that are committed to the concepts of intelligent style, which means thinking about you and thinking about your needs, as well as, again, how many can we even actually sell this? And if anybody knows Bridget Jones's Diary, I think back to why this line must have resonated so deeply for me and resonates so deeply for so many women is because we want to believe this. You are perfect just as you are. And you absolutely are. So that is what we want you to see and feel. And the only reason why I say anyone may not, again, goes back to it's not you, it's the system. So let's dive in. We'll talk about your ISQ, creating a vision for your style, what is return on wear and how you can think about it, creating your wardrobe action plan, and updating with intention. So another quick question for you. So intelligent style quotient is like emotional intelligence. ISQ is like EQ. Style is learned, another one of our core values. And wherever you are in feeling totally confident and clear in your style is fine, because again, this is an ever evolving continuum for us as we continue to evolve in our careers. So prefacing that, just this is awareness. ISQ is also just about setting a baseline of where you're at so that you can get to where you want to be, which is, of course, to feel empowered. Creating a vision for your style. So I know Kat has a history in fashion as well. So she's familiar with the designer mood board. I know we have a couple other designers here as well, but I want you to think about creating your own mood board and vision board for your style. As you'll notice, there isn't anything clothing related on this vision board, and that's intentional. One of the things as we're getting to know a member is we do ask for images that would create your style vision board for us. And it's in part an exercise for you, but it's also for us to get a sense of the dynamics of your style, the essence of your style that you want to bring to life. So something to think about for yourself is to dive, even go into your favorites folder and look at the pictures that you just really resonate with and like, yes, this is me. This is how it kind of brings a feeling, because that's what we're trying to create with style. For myself, as these are pictures that I captured as certain things. It's like with the Le Creuset and the blue china, as I look to settle again, like I love to cook and I love to bring people together. My favorite color is cobalt blue. So that tracks over here with Greece, even though I've never been to Greece. This isn't even about going to Greece. It's just, I love the white and the blue and the clean lines. Of course, the white Porsche, because you got to go fast. But then you've got the cozy, comfy couch, but it's elegant. So they're just wanting to share that, to think about the different layers and the nuance of your style too, in the images that you would choose for your vision board. And even looking in your closet to see how you could bring that in. I know I'm rushing through this, but it's because I really want to get to the point. I want to share these high level ideas, again, to just sort of shift the way you're thinking about certain things, and then be able to get to Q&A and plenty of that. So return on wear, it's a concept I've been talking about for quite some time. Again, 15 years of working with women leaders. And it's something that I'm happy to see getting to have some more sort of headline space, I guess, these days. So cost per wear, return on investment, thinking about if you're investing in a piece and you wear it one time versus, or 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times, or over a month versus 10 years, what is that return on wear? So that is a key shift that I want you to kind of start taking with as you move forward. That's going to be huge to improve the clarity in your closet each morning, because you're buying pieces that you love, that fit and that feel good. I'm going to minimize this and then thinking about so going into your closet, this is, I don't know if you know Confessions of a Shopaholic, another cute, fun movie. But what do you want to wear? Because even if you're not wearing it, don't feel guilty about not wearing it, but look at what made you purchase it. And what was it that you wanted to bring into your closet? Try it on. Now, even if you wanted to wear it and you genuinely wanted to, and there's something about it that's making you never actually wear it out the door, you're absolutely going to learn something through that. And you can also let it go. It can find a good home. And there's definitely plenty of charities, organizations, and now there's so many more recycling resources. So you don't have to feel guilty about the fact that you didn't wear it. You can just learn something from it. And then play with it, especially the pieces that you want to wear. Just play with different outfit coordinations, and you may actually find a way to wear it. The next bit. This is key, actually. Basics don't mean boring. As we go back to the return on wear, a black jacket doesn't need to be boring. Black pants don't need to be boring. They can be simple. They can be tailored. They can be clean. But if you love them and you feel good in it, they're not boring. And also, your black jacket is not the same as your best friend's black jacket or your mom's black jacket, etc. So after you've gone into your closet and played with everything, then you create your action plan. And this is how we get to the next step, which is to update with intention. So to go category by, I know this can feel like a lot of work, but everything is already in your closet. With every client I would work with one-to-one, and even with the boutique box process, now we have you get into your closet first. We do not want to send you clothes. I do not want to have anyone buy new clothes until you have awareness of what you already have, because otherwise you will just continue to add more and more clutter. So break it down, take it category by category. You can do it one category a day. If you want, hit it all at once. Categorize it into ISQ. So these are the pieces that you love. Return on wear. These are the pieces that you want to wear. You want to get a higher return on wear. And then the necessary pieces. And the necessary pieces are the pieces that will be rotated out as soon as you have a replacement for them that you love. And then create a list to prioritize your updates, and the prioritization is going to depend on what's going on in your life and career and what you need sooner than later, and what's going to add more value. So this is what I call style board. This is something when somebody has created their closet in the cloud and buys a new piece through Boutique Box, we'll create a board leveraging the pieces in their closet so they can see how to immediately mix and match it. But one new piece should add at least 3 to 5 new outfits. And so in prioritizing your updates, you're going to want to prioritize the pieces that can add the most value and the most number of outfits and or outfit completions. There's so many more things I could have gone into with this, but as far as like, what are the elements of an outfit? How do I put together an outfit? I know that I'm not touching on that. That is something that we guide people to in Boutique Box, but that would be a lot of information all at once. This is already a lot. So finally, updating with intention. Intelligent style is sustainable style, because the best thing you can do for the environment is wear what you buy, until we really have a cohesive circular system with fabrics that are easy to recycle and or reuse or biodegrade. So focus on quality over quantity. Investing in pieces does not need to mean designer, but it is quality that will last. This is one of the key reasons why we collaborate with emerging designers who are focusing on direct sales. They are not, for the most part, working with wholesalers, so they don't have that massive excessive margin that they end up just discounting 30%. That 30% discount is a price correction. So at that point, when you're shopping, if you get that 30% off, it's the appropriate quality, and that's fabulous. But focusing on quality that will last, not just 1 year, but maybe 5 years or 10 years. And I know that it can be a challenge for women with your bodies shifting. Will I actually be able to wear it for 10 years? If you're not, it can at least find a good home somewhere else, whether you gift it, donate it, or resell it. And set a budget. So with Boutique Box, we recommend one piece at a time because our pieces tend to be between the $100 to $600 price range, depending on what it is. So you know your budget, you know how many pieces you can buy each month, especially if you're having to rebuild a wardrobe. Most people really don't need a lot. You probably just need to continually update anywhere from 6 to 12 new pieces a year, and maybe even less if you really have a great curated wardrobe that you love. So, but set that budget, because then it can feel good when you are investing in a piece that you love. And I already shared this, but just buy 1 or 3 pieces at a time. 3 is really a max because you're needing to rebuild your wardrobe. Really, truly, I believe in the 1 or 2 at the most at a time. And even Boutique Box, as it is now, is a bit of a shift because I didn't like that I was having clients in the past buy 4 to 6 pieces each time, even though we did it quarterly, and we would help them integrate those pieces immediately, or I would in a one-to-one session. When you have 1 piece at a time and you really integrate it into your wardrobe, that reinforces that embodiment of your style. And then I already shared this as well, but focus on direct to consumer. You're all here as a part of the 4th floor, so this is not something I need to hammer in, but I'll share very quickly. Boutique Box is a $250 a year annual membership. You create your intelligent style profile with us. We walk you through that. It is a bit of a white glove experience. And then we will connect you with pieces from our designers that match your needs. So you can update with intention, leverage your closet in the cloud, and we can help you immediately integrate it with the style boards. Again, one piece at a time, and it really depends on what we see in your closet, what would actually add value, and the correct fit, style, size, all that stuff. So without further ado, I'll open it up to questions. I saw a bunch of chats coming in here, so yes, we absolutely have to get past fast fashion. Oh, thanks, Jocelyn. I'll stop the share.
Feel free to raise your hand or just jump into the conversation. We're not a big crowd, so happy to just talk.
Yes. I saw a quick question from Sarah. Does Boutique Box work with plus size petite women too? Absolutely. So I should also share, we don't buy inventory, but we collaborate with brands so that we can be inclusive in all of the ways. I actually first launched Boutique Box as a part of my first business. And I was like, wait a second, I don't want to just be able to serve one woman. If you buy inventory, I was going to have to make that sacrifice. So we're also giving these brands a path to scale that's much more sustainable for their business as well as for the environment. Thank you, Jocelyn. Those pink pants are fabulous. Oh, and even to go back to that image, it's like, those are all kind of like staple pieces, but in a fun color. So just looking at different ways that you can play with simple sort of outfit formulas. Okay.
Do you also do accessories?
Yeah. All the things. We have shoes, we have jewelry, suiting, casual, swim, actually. If anybody needs a swimsuit, even if you're not a member, I'll send you off along the recommendation. I love what one of our brands is doing with sustainable swim.
Can I pipe in?
Yeah.
So let me turn my camera on.
Yes. Hi, good to see
So
you.
I'm not anonymous. Hi, how are you?
Good.
We did meet in real life at the fourth floor happy hour last year about a year ago, like Kat was saying.
Absolutely. I know.
So
So
it's funny. It's good to see you. How are you?
Very good.
Great.
I'm actually, Breen, I need to know where you are in California, but Yanzi, please.
I'm in New Jersey, just outside of New York City. But I just wanted to pipe in and say, I've been in the fashion industry for close to 40 years. And what you're doing is one of the things that I was talking with a stylist about. And to me, the whole idea of sustainability is based on planning your clothing. You know, I mean, we all want to look great, right? We all want to be in the latest fashion or whatever, but everything that you're saying about quality over quantity and making sure the pieces are flattering to me. And I said this to a fashion stylist at Luminary the other day, having a fashion stylist and the service that you're providing is really a key to sustainability, because you wind up buying stuff that you liked at the store, but then you don't know how to put it into your closet. And I think for, in general, I would say that having someone being able to style your wardrobe for you is really a key to sustainability. Because we're not going to stop buying clothes. We need to continue wearing clothes. You need to have, whatever look that's appropriate for business or casual or whatever. But you can't invest or have the experience or the know-how to do that. So to have a service like this, which also is supporting small businesses and is also size inclusive. I mean, it's like, I just wanted to say, you've hit every nail on the head. So kudos and congratulations.
Thank you. That is very much appreciated, because this is basically my life's work. Since I left in 2008, I was like, how do I make the industry actually more sustainable and set a new precedent for how and that was 2008. Like, as far as we all know.
Yeah.
The industry.
That was my battle cry, was to get women in the C-suite, dress them for the C-suite, and make sure they were comfortable but look powerful, and all of that good stuff. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is there's a lot of companies, and I don't know if you're familiar with Nancy Rhodes at Alter New.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love
She
what
does
she's
the
doing.
tailoring, mobile tailoring, and I've used her multiple times for clients because I do everything made to order, made to measure. And, a hem might be a half inch too long or whatever. And these are busy women. So she will send a tailor to the person's place of residence, pin everything, and the tailor takes it back, fixes it, and then sends it, delivers it back to them. So that's another piece of the sustainability puzzle, I think, is if you can, even she's changed garments, like renew something and make it into something totally different than what it was originally, just by, taking sleeves off or putting sleeves on, or, whatever it is that they do. And there are multiple companies like that do that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I will share too, I think, as far as I really fully believe that women have their style within them. It's just a matter of bringing it out. And that's one of the reasons why I shifted to Boutique Box on its own rather than continuing to build a one-to-one styling business. Was I didn't want, well, I never was a crutch really, but like the biggest challenge is finding those pieces that fit you. And if you have those pieces, then it's a lot more easy and clear on putting it together and playing. And then that just really reinforces the confidence. So
And I think
yeah,
also when you work with women and they try things on, they know what they like and what they don't like and what they feel comfortable in.
yeah. And helping them articulate that too and understand those details of it. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Catherine, I just want to flag Stella has her hand up, and there
Yeah.
also are 3 or 4 questions in the chat.
Thank you. Perfect. Yes. Stella, have at it. And then I'll get to the questions in the chat too. I see those as well. Hello. Oh,
You're on mute, Stella.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Catherine, wow. And Yanzi, also great feedback. Thank you both. But Catherine, I love, love, love the work that you do, and you are out there and you are empowering so many women without really taking away from your presentation, like Yanzi as well. I've been in the fashion industry for 30 years. And when I switched to direct to consumer about 4 years ago, it really came from a realization that I gathered over my years in the business. And direct to consumer is a way more sustainable way of actually presenting garments, going against the unrealistic calendar that wholesale businesses still have to follow. It's about produce, produce. It's never big enough. It's never fast enough. It's never cheap enough. And if you have a sustainable mindset, well, that doesn't work, right? And then to take it further, and that's like my own personal experience. And I love that you are size inclusive. I came to realize, and you already mentioned that, as women transition through life in general, right? Whether you have a child or not, your body will automatically change. Nobody ever really addresses that. Our proportions change. Some of us are fortunate enough, we work out and we stay hip and trim and fit. But eventually you hit menopause and all hell breaks loose again. And I also think it is a mindset. As we progress in life, we tend to dress differently than we did in our 20s. And I think the part that is so important is comfort, right? We get to a point where we are not going to give up comfort for style. We are not going to wear things that make us feel uncomfortable, but we want to be stylish. And then we are confronted, well, what's out there for me? And I'm very passionate about women that are in their midlife. While we are being offered, a lot of matronly looking clothing, but we still want to look contemporary and hip. Our bodies have changed. So where do we go?
mhm.
And I think it's also really important to, and that I've made that my mantra without taking away from you, we need to be more size inclusive. I have a friend who's a size 18. I cannot go shopping with her. She likes the brands I love, and I'm still fortunate enough to be able to peruse a lot of regular clothes and find my size. She can't. She's being sent over to the corner of shame, and you have worked at Nordstrom, so you probably know best. They separate plus from regular.
Bet.
And
And then
that's
they
not
took them out of the
being
stores. I
inclusive.
was like,
Right?
kidding
So
me?
I set out to become a brand where a size 2 can shop the same way as a size 22 can, out of compassion for my friend. And then I came to realize that people ultimately, women love that. So I commend you for what it is that you do. I think we need to address all women. And while, like Yancy, probably, I'm just offering a look that might not be for everybody, but I'm trying to be very mindful of how can I make a larger woman or a woman that's not the ideal hourglass figure look comfortable and beautiful, because I think as a designer you need to take it upon yourself to understand the human form and put clothing out there that actually will flatter a lot of different body shapes. And up to this point, I see the problem starts at design schools. You can walk into any school and there are dress forms lined up in the slim ideal hourglass figure. And then we breed more designers that go out there and want to design for the ideal slim hourglass figure. And we completely disregard that over 50% of women do not have the ideal slim hourglass figure. So what do? We create oversimplified clothes that don't fit, that are not very flattering, that nobody wants. It ends up in landfill. I mean, I just go on and on and on. So enough about me. I love what you do. I want to support you in any way, shape that I can. And kudos to you for being out there and really empowering women. And as you said, women know instinctively of what looks good on them. But I think women also have lost the confidence of bringing this out, and they need help. That's what I find, in my store. Having women come in, oh, this is not going to work for me. This doesn't look good. But when they finally try, and this is what you do, your service is crucial. When you get them over that negative self-talk, and they recognize themselves in the mirror and can admit to themselves, this looks good, well, then you have somebody for life. And I can guarantee you, she will show up differently. How she turns up with her family, with her work environment, with her neighbors. It is this energetic shift that is so powerful on how a woman shows up, right? And then going back to work, that's another component, right? Oh my God, how do we dress now? You have addressed it beautifully. I think the importance is be comfortable, but also look professional. And it can be done. You don't have to give up comfort for style. And I think we need to really embrace that and show that it's possible. So thank you for the work that you do. Yanzi, I also love for the work that you do. And Kat and Breen, I love your platform. Thank you.
That was amazing. And I put it in the chat. Stella, feel free to, and anyone else here, feel free to put your links to your companies and the things that you're working on in the chat so we can all connect and see what's going on. There were some other questions in the chat. Catherine, did you see them? Let me just scroll back.
Yes. Yeah.
Name,
And thank you
have
so
them
much,
ready?
Stella. I obviously very much agree with all of that. And yeah, all of my I've said this over in other times where it's like every single woman I've worked with has inspired our next steps, our clients, our current members. I mean, we're really building out the experience of Boutique Box with our members. And when I see there's a place they're getting stuck, because I really want to guide, I don't want them to be reliant on me. We just we're the resource, we're the support. And it's just that piece. Let me see. There was a question around, oh yes. Kay asked, I've heard only one sexy element, shorter hemline or high heels per outfit. Do you have any thoughts on what is considered feminine but not too sexy? I have a lot of thoughts. I hate this conversation, not because of the question, but because we have to have it. It's incredibly sexist and unfair. And I was like, from an existential perspective, I was actually reflecting on it. There have been times where I'm like, why am I a stylist? Why am I doing this work? Like, this is not the important stuff. Like, the important stuff is women's leadership and our voices being heard and, change that needs to happen. And we've got all these roadblocks that are reasons why it's not. But at the end of the day, I think focusing in on how you want to feel is where I would go with that. And the other thing that I was thinking of in relation to this for women is, and it's, again, this is nuanced, so like, give me grace if I don't say it exactly well, but, you know, like, why do we want to be attractive? Like, what's the intention behind being attractive or sexy? Not because if it's truly just for you, like, it took me a long time to be, I've had mean girl experiences, and this maybe will come off the wrong way too, but it's like, I don't want to be pretty. Being pretty is painful. Like, I don't want people to look at me that way. I want people to see me as smart and intelligent and capable and a strong person who is resilient. But wait, why can't I be both? So there's all these layers to this conversation. And I don't really believe in rules when it comes to fashion or style, which is why, again, even this little workshop was about guidelines and just a way for you to think about it a little bit differently, rather than, if I would say, like, from a body perspective, I'm not your pear, you're an hourglass, you're an apple. It's like, what's going to be best for your body? Because those 5 body shapes, like, are not inclusive of all the nuance that women have. And the rules are made to be broken. So I think if you're not in a corporate environment, you certainly have a lot more grace to just do whatever you want. And the other thing that I would say to that is, if you are, I want you to feel safe bringing your full self to work. And that's probably the bigger challenge, period, for women at work. Even more so for women of color. But, and there's so many layers to that. I mean, professional is based off of a white man's idea of what professional is from like the 80s. And then women started dressing like men in the 80s. So you could do sort of like the, what's called, like the toad in water, hot water, you know, like, just let one thing at a time to make them more comfortable with you. And then, sadly, even saying it like that, make them more comfortable with you bringing your full self to work. I know it's not quite answering one sexy element or not, but again, I think it's such a deeper conversation. And I want you to be in an environment, I want women to feel safe wherever they are. And if you are in an environment where, and you have a style that is not what people would be traditionally comfortable with, that's when I would say, like, do that toad in water situation, like a little bit of color first, then a little bit more color, then a little bit, and, you know, bring it to a place where they're like, oh, of course, that's Kate or Stella or Yanzi, or, you know, so that's what I would say to that. Think about what the intention is behind what you want to wear. Make sure that it's focused on you feeling your most powerful, and, you know, you have to do you. And I'll share one anecdote too, where I had a client that I was working with, and she was showing me these outfits that her boss had deemed was too bold for the board meetings, and that she was too bold in her style. And she's an Indian woman, and that's her style. Like, color is a huge part of her style and her culture. And I was like, that's not inappropriate. You were completely appropriate. I was just flabbergasted. And really, in that session, the takeaway was that she was not in the right environment where she was allowed to be herself. And soon after that, she ended up getting a job where she was set as the standard for style, where her boss, who is known for her style too, was like, look at what so-and-so is wearing. Like, this, she just so appreciated how she showed up. So it's just a really good, like, point to finding the places where you get to be you. Okay, I'll get off that pedestal. So next question I see are, what are 3 must-buy pieces this season? What are some of your favorite basic pieces? And can I share my comment about buying when 30% off only again? Okay, so, and Jocelyn, yes, culture still remains about, this is why I don't know if I could even go back to corporate, but I want to empower all the women that are in corporate so that we can make these changes happen. I shouldn't even say, I prefer to use the word embolden. I don't need to give you power, you have it. Okay, so the 3 must-buy pieces this season. Well, you got to go to your wardrobe action plan and see what's missing in your Because again, it really is going to be personal. I would say, to answer the next question, what are the favorite basic pieces? You need to have a dark suit. You don't need to wear it together, but you're going to get a lot of mileage out of a great fitting jacket that you can throw over jeans, a dress, wear it as the suit, because those occasions do come up. And then the pants to wear separately as well. So, and then that's sort of like, you can get a twofer for that. And how many different outfits you can get with just those two pieces. A white blouse is something that I recommend, but it doesn't necessarily have to be white, because the colors need to be right for you. So I even say dark suit, because some people should be wearing brown or navy or black. And a white blouse doesn't mean a button down. It could be a relaxed, easy blouse. A lot of different ways to interpret that. I personally like you saw on my style vision board, I have a lot of white in my closet. So it could be another neutral color that can go with a lot of things. So if you get a pair of fun patterned pants, you immediately have something to wear it with. A pair of nude heels in your shade, a pair of black pumps. And I should even say, not everybody wears heels. So a pair of shoes that translate to that sort of elevated feel. A couple of accessories, like your favorite earrings, your favorite necklace. You can wear the same accessories every day. I call them subtle statements. So it's, again, you don't have to think about it. Dark denim, your favorite fit of dark denim, a white t-shirt or another neutral t-shirt. And I think that's a pretty good baseline. If you have those pieces, you'll have something to wear with anything fun that you put in your wardrobe. And then to answer the question about what I was sharing about 30% off. So a Macy's, a Bloomingdale's, even a Nordstrom, definitely a Banana Republic or a Gap. A lot of those brands are locked into what I call the constant markdown cycle. So the clothes are basically produced to sell, like the quality is for that sale price point. It's like because they've trained us to want the sale or only buy on sale, now they're stuck in that. Rather than as a way to sell through the rest of the inventory, which is how it started, now it's basically a part of the everyday monthly cycle. So a lot of the mass merchants, most things that you would see in a department store are the quality that they're produced to are what you would buy when they sell it for 25 or 30% off. So that's where actually at one point where I was like, what do I do next? I decided to stop. I was pausing with Boutique Box as a part of my personal styling service. And was like, I'm just going to take my clients shopping at Bloomingdale's because they need to, they may as well take advantage of the 30 to 50% off, and we can get more for them. And I can tell what's worth worth the price. It's gotten so bad. And then now it's just the assortment is so one vision. You really have to have the patience and the interest in finding the one or two pieces that would be right for you, which they'll be there if you have the time to invest, probably, maybe. But anyway, so that's the key detail is that majority of clothes for mass merchants are produced to that 30% price point because they expect that at least 70% or more of their inventory is going to sell at that price point. Okay, I love your work. You help high school students prepare for job interviews. I was on the board for After School All-Stars in DC for some time, and I love that work as far as having students see their possibilities. Allison asks, can you talk about accessories and what accessories to invest in? Super personal. Again, I think for accessories, aside from, of course, the brands that we work with, but it is something that is a little bit more fun and a little bit easier for you to find on your own. Like the brands that we work with, one of them is a metalsmith, and she just has the most beautiful, unique structural pieces, but her style isn't for everybody. So it is something that can be fun to explore when you're traveling. So that's something I always encourage people to do with accessories, scarves, and jewelry, because the other piece of it is then you have a more personal connection to it. And I do think that's the special thing about accessories, like even using it as like a totem. Like my earrings actually are from my grandma from when I was 21. And they've been my, what I call like subtle statements that I wear all the time for years now, because I'm not anywhere near 21 anymore. And then, yeah, so just looking for those things that draw you in. I can't prescribe that, because some people like big earrings, some people like studs, some people like big necklaces, some people like dainty ones. So it's going to be even more personal than the other pieces, but I know that's maybe not helpful. I'd be open to hearing what your thoughts are on that. Very open-ended answer.